Who's the judge to declare a winner? The fans? No. Not in a competition. No. The fans don't matter. Do the fans pick who win at the Olympics? No. They don't go for crowd reaction to see who won the gymnastic competition. They don't. Something as subjective as gymnastics, when you go to something as objective as say fencing or basketball, the judges don't even pick. It's who hit who first, who scored the most points. Why? Because humans cannot be trusted to fairly judge anything. Period. It can't. So when we go back to art, a lot of the stuff that we see in museums was never meant to be in museums. It was never meant. There was no such thing as a museum, right? Some of these paintings that are hanging on museum walls, they found in barns and in people's basements, and shit was hanging up in people's bathrooms, and it was never meant to be seen by the public. Right? Some of it was just investments, but it was never meant to be seen. Like, this is my son, or that's my horse, or that's my dog. Certain folks don't even care. Like, I don't want to picture this nigga's horse. Like, that ain't even my horse. It's his horse. Like, who are these people? Like, whose house is that? That was meant to be in somebody's house because they didn't have TVs, right? So when they came into a room, the walls, instead of looking at 4 bare walls going crazy, you just fill it with color and themes of the outside. When you look outside and see the world covered in chimney smoke and pestilence, he was like, close them goddamn windows and let's look at this painting of the sunshine. Goddamn it! It was more utility than it was an expression, right? So when you see these works of art, they were never meant to be consumed by the outside world in that capacity. They weren't meant to have fans, right? The artist wasn't finished until the person who paid for that painting was satisfied that he was finished. And you got some artists who's like, I just paint what I paint. And they're like, all right, whatever. And you got other artists to a T. They like, yep, you good? Like, yeah, I'm good. Okay, cool, we good. So there's no competition. A competition that is judged by the fans. If it's something that's judged by the fans, it's not a competition. You're playing. It's an exhibition. You got to know the difference between an exhibition and a competition. There's a difference. Because you could be in a competition, be at an away game. The fans is like, boo, I hate these dudes. I can't stand him. That was garbage. This nigga can't play. I hate him. He played too rough and da-da-da. And if it was up to the fans, they would lose. But the fans don't matter. There's a giant box hanging from the ceiling called a scoreboard. That's what matters. Who has the most numbers when this time runs out? That's who wins. Right? Now, if we're talking about the Harlem Globetrotters, the whole, or we talk about something like even And One. And One is an exhibition of skill that is meant to entertain the fans. If the people are not entertained, then you lost. Because the goal is to entertain the fans. The goal is not to win a game. The goal is to entertain people with skill. That is an exhibition. And in that case, in the exhibition, then yes, the fans judge who wins. In a competition, that's not the case. URL is not a competition, man. I get it. I'm not trying to talk down on it. That's not a competition. That's an exhibition. It's an exhibition of skill. right? Maybe it was like that back in the day when they were standing across the pool table, and then who was the homie? It wasn't Smack back then. It was the other homie. What's his name? P? Maybe. But it was like, who won? Like you asked at the end, like who won? Like dude won. And maybe, but I don't know, man. They don't even be asking who won at the end of them shits. International P, yeah. They don't even be asking who won. Right? Freestyle Friday was different because Freestyle Friday, you actually kind of had like a task that you had to complete. And the way that Freestyle Friday was measured was like who had like the most similes and metaphors, right? That actually hit, right? Like somebody could say, Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Her Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. That's how I be moving the blow, right? Then you had the other dude like, oh, okay. Then he be like, Mary had a little lamb. Call it Gallardo. That's how I be. He said, and I make the snow go up in the air like Mikado. Then you'll be like, that nigga just flipped had a little lamb way better than the other nigga. He had more levels and he had more reference points in his joint. They're like, yeah, that nigga won. Simply because he executed more. Right? Not because he was like, cause Mary had a little lamb, nigga. That's how I be moving the hard snow. Right? Like, nigga, you just talking louder. This ain't a who can talk the loudest competition. This is who can extend this metaphor the longest and still be coherent to the initial objective, right? And you went one layer deep because we can actually count that. So yes, art has numbers, man. It does. Art has numbers and themes and different concepts to it that can you execute those concepts. Some people can, some people can't. Some people can do it a little bit more elegantly than someone else. But at the end of the day, if you both are executing at the same level, objectively from a number standpoint, then you get into the rarefied air where everybody's on the same level and now you have to measure certain intangibles. But that's rare. That's rare. Normally when you're in competitions, it's a blowout or it's somewhat close, but never close to the point where it's a tie. Not in competition. Freestyle Friday was a competition. Freestyle Friday was a competition. You going with that? That was a competition. People lost. People lost Freestyle Friday, B. I seen a whole lot of them. A lot of legends came out of Freestyle Friday.